If motorcycle riders absolutely hate carefully crafted lifestyle bullshit with selfies and posers, then how are there so many influencers in the motorcycle world? They hate the guy standing next to his motorcycle pretending he just discovered enlightenment because he rode 17 miles to a coffee shop. And honestly, I get it. But there's something bigger going on here. Something much more sinister. So let's dive in and find out how the rise of the moto influencer came to be, and why riders hate them so much, and how you're being influenced more than you even know, and what the future of all this influencer shit is. God, I'm actually tired of that word already. Now, I've been building and engineering motorcycle parts for over 20 years, so I witnessed the rise of the influencer. And that's long enough to know that every generation thinks the next generation is ruining motorcycles in the same way your grandparents thought Elvis was the freaking Antichrist. But hey, elephant in the room, I've also been posting videos online since 2012, which means, according to some people on the internet, I'm one of the assholes that we are talking about. So, let's have an uncomfortable conversation. Let me take my pants off to make it even worse. So how did influencers even enter into the moto world? Quite simply, incentive. Incentive created influencers, as it does everything else. First it was fame and because no one was making money. Then it was money. And who wouldn't want to try to get paid for riding motorcycles? I mean, duh. Or even just taking pictures with them, whatever. Now, before social media, if you wanted motorcycle information, you were basically stuck with magazines, dealerships, maybe a Yahoo forum. That's where I started. And that was pretty much your internet resource. The forum and blogspot era really kicked it off initially. This was like the 90s, early 2000s. The online culture existed on forums and blogs only, pretty much, where people hosted their own content. You could start your own blogspot account, you know? This content was actually more along the line of a guy with like 40,000 forum posts who knew everything about carburetors who would help you with your dumbass questions. That was the forum world. It was pretty cool. Then social media showed up and completely changed everything. Suddenly riders could share builds, rides, reviews, literally everything with millions of people across the planet. Information that used to take years to find became available in a 10-minute video that you stumbled upon while watching Benny Lava. Y'all remember that? YouTube Gold. Yeah. Now check this out. Cheap GoPros changed the entire scene. Now you could show your experience instead of talking about it. Guys like Motonicity or Walterific became very recognizable, and this is when moto vlogging became a real thing. It was in this era that a dramatic shift occurred. Personality started to become more rewarded over technical expertise. But what doesn't require good looks or technical expertise is hitting the like button. Actually helps the channel a ton and lets me know I'm doing a good job. So then, Instagram hit the scene in 2013. This is where the moto influencers started to move from a crawl to a sprint. Instagram had an algorithm that rewarded pictures of bikes, attractive people. They definitely didn't reward beards. Fancy locales, and really, they pushed the polished lifestyle images. Now, you don't need to wrench. You don't even need to ride. Just get some good pictures of the bike. This is where the parking lot influencer was thus born. Now, this doesn't mean it was all. One of my favorites, Do It With Dan, began in 2013, and he actually does builds and has technical and personality skill. Win-win. Now then came the manufacturers and brand involvement. This was probably the biggest industry-level turning point. Motorcycle manufacturers started to realize that traditional advertising was not working well. So instead of paying for magazine ads, they started lending bikes to these creators. And then brands discovered that a creator with 50,000 loyal followers could move more motorcycles than a print ad. This actually legitimized influencing as a career, believe it or not. And now we're in what I call the algorithm era. This is where things get really freaking hinky. The platform stops rewarding expertise. They reward only engagement, only hot takes, only drama, crash videos, complete, absolute diarrhea. Because the algorithm doesn't care if somebody has ridden 300,000 miles and built their own bike by hand. It only cares if viewers watch to the end. But you know what's gonna blow your mind? Influencers didn't do this. Smartphones did. And here's what I think a lot of people forget about this. A huge number of riders found motorcycles because of the freaking content. Maybe it was a YouTube channel or Facebook or IG, whatever it was, something caught their attention and made them think, damn son, that looks fun. Now the seed was planted and more content actually ended up watering the seed. Now influencers didn't just create annoying trends. They also brought new riders into motorcycling. They introduced people to brands. They exposed people to events that otherwise you never would have heard of. They ended up showing people places that we never would have gone. And without new riders constantly entering the sport, the whole motorcycle culture slowly dies anyway. So why do riders hate influencers so much? Oh boy. Have you ever seen your girlfriend scrolling and watching these chicks put on makeup? You know, like those little DIY makeup videos? These chicks don't seem very bothered in the slightest that this other gal is clearly selling some and guiding their directions. They're like, hell yeah, give me the solution to my acne. Whereas motorcycle guys are like, I'll pour through 42 vintage repair books I bought on eBay just to see if I can make this 70-year-old part work with a part I made 20 minutes ago. Ha! But bro, you could have looked up a YouTube video and maybe solved the problem in 10 minutes. but you just don't like feeling like someone told you what to do. Another thing is, when you're just out trying to enjoy a bike show, cold beer in hand, seeing all the homies, the honeys too, having a good time, some freaking yo-yo is waving his 360 cam around or holding up an iPad filming the giveaway. Annoying. So anyways, why are riders like this toward the influencers? Well, anyone who actually takes the risk to get on a motorcycle and intrinsically become a rider or builder is attempting to live a more free, unique, and independent lifestyle. It's not the lifestyle society tells them to be. But you see, the problem here is not the influencers themselves, because you're being influenced whether you like it or not, thousands of times a day. And this is crazy. The average American sees 4,000 to 10,000 ads or brand messages every day. That's average. In addition to that, from birth, everything you have and know came from someone else's influence. From your personality to your paycheck, it all came from someone. We're all in a way in way less control than we think we are. But what riders don't like is when they know someone is trying to influence. Nobody was really bothered by Michael Jordan. He's out there making slam dunks and selling Nike Airs. But inevitably, bajillions of people bought his shoes through his influence. And they still sell like hotcakes today. They didn't know he was influencing them. They thought, I do actually like those puffy shoes he's wearing. Maybe I can dunk too. White guy can dream, right? Remember those Nike Air Command Force shoes with the puffy thing? Dude, that shit was hilarious, but as a kid, I wanted them. Now the problem here is the resentment starts the moment you realize someone's trying to influence you. You dig your heels in and go, no way, Jose. But most riders stop thinking right there. They see the loudest, most obnoxious influencer on Instagram and decide every influencer is the same. It's a valid response, but not a balanced one. When all it really means is that you're just seeing someone do something in a way that you don't like. Someone, God forbid, is living their life in a way you don't want them to. And that creates hate. The irony is, I see a lot of the riders complaining about influencers, but the whiners are literally doing the exact same thing as an influencer, just in their own way. They just have fewer followers. They're still taking photos, they're still posting videos, they're still trying to show everybody the cool they did on the weekend. Only difference is,
nobody cares.
They got 4 likes on your video, and 2 of those were your mom and dad, And I think some people are maybe a little bit pissed about that. So let's answer your question. Did influencers ruin motorcycle culture? In my opinion, no. I was here before it. I was here before GoPros and YouTube and all that BS. I'm still here. Now I'll admit, some influencers are absolutely insufferable. Some have all the confidence of Alexander the Great and absolutely none of the experience required to be giving any kind of advice. We've all seen those people. But here's the thing, you don't actually know why they're doing it. You don't know them. You don't know their intentions. You don't know if they're helping people. You literally do not know if they are trying to build a business and just flailing their way through it publicly. I mean, okay, have you seen Mr. Beast's earliest YouTube videos? Like, whoa, they're bad. I mean, I still think his videos are for 12-year-old boys, but let me know in the comments if you disagree about that. Now, the point is, you don't know if they're genuinely passionate about motorcycles. You're just making assumptions from the perspective that you are better than them and you know better. And the moment you start assuming that you know somebody's motivations without ever meeting them, you have become exactly what you're complaining about. You're judging someone based on a very small, carefully curated image of who they are. That's why this whole conversation gets a little messy. Some influencers suck. Some are actually absolutely amazing. Most are probably somewhere in the middle, just trying to figure out life like everybody else. What you see on their socials is a teeny tiny fraction of their life. That's it. A few moments curated, trimmed, edited. And to paint someone based on that 5-minute video seems a little rough. I know, because I've done it to others myself. The real influencer isn't the person you hate. The real influencer is the person who actually influenced you. Maybe they taught you how to work on your bike. Maybe they inspired you to build. Maybe they convinced you to take a road trip. Maybe they got you riding in the first place. And if somebody wants to post motorcycle pictures all day long, who gives? Let them. Someone wants to educate riders, great. Have at it. If someone wants to post photos of themselves wearing a helmet with their tits out, fantastic. Send me the handle so I can subscribe. So influencers didn't kill motorcycle culture. They amplified motorcycle culture. The good parts and the bad parts. The useful and the very, very annoying. They're not some separate species of human, they're riders. Some barely. Some are cringe, some are totally awesome, and most are just people. So just remember, it's hard to put yourself out there. It's easy to judge from a keyboard. So at the end of the day, they're doing the hard thing, and I have respect for at least that. Now, if you enjoyed this video, watch my Sturgis video next, because it's another perfect example of riders making up their minds about something before they actually experience it themselves. Turns out a lot of internet opinions start falling apart the second you look a little deeper. Click it now.